make worship about worship. Ugh. All right. The scripture I chose for this one is John chapter 4, verse 24. God is spirit, and his worshipers must worship in the spirit and in truth. What do I mean by make worship about worship? Well, remember I said a second ago that I did a episode a little while ago, obviously at least November, because I haven't done this show in all of the month of December, about people who felt that they could be a Christian without going to church. And I said, no, you can't. No, you can't. The Bible's very clear about that. But what drove some of them toward that was what they're seeing in worship services today. And one person in particular that I talked about on that episode said that he looked at modern Christian worship today as a play. It's completely a spectator event. He said, you come in, a band plays about 5 songs or so for you, then they ask you for your money, and then somebody stands up there and preaches a message to you for 30 to 45 minutes, and it's probably a message that you've heard before sometime in the past 6 months because they just recycle them, and then you go away for another week. And the whole time, you're just an observer. All right? That is not worship. Now, do I think one of the criticisms I gave of this gentleman who posted the YouTube video in that episode was I think he was painting with too broad of a brush, because I don't think all worship services are like that. Those of us that come from a more liturgical tradition, I think one of the advantages of liturgy is that it involves the congregation. When you have a communal confession, for example, it gets the congregation involved in the worship service. So they're not a spectator, they're participating. Liturgy makes people active participants. Now, liturgy for liturgy's sake can be just as problematic, all right? There's no magic amount of liturgy you have to have in there, all right? The point is that you want to get the congregation involved in some way, shape, or form, like we do here with Engaging the Word. It's something else we do here at Trinity, where we actually talk a little bit about Scripture with the congregation before we dive into the message. So making worship about worship is that our focus in worship needs to be on God, not on us, not on our personal enjoyment, all right? It's on giving him praise. I've said before, you know what you get out of worship? Whatever you bring into it, all right? It's on you to make sure that you are worshiping God, that your focus is on him, not on you. It's not a rock concert, folks, all right? Another thing I've said a number of times when describing worship is, if you are merely spectating and not participating, then you're not worshiping. If you are merely spectating and not participating, then you're not worshiping, all right? And participating needs to be more than just singing along to the songs, all right? Because you do that at a concert as well. I saw somebody once recently who said, if I took the video of a worship service and I took out the audio and I swapped it with the audio of a modern day rock concert, would I notice any difference? If not, then there's something wrong there. You need to be sending worship to God, not just having an entertaining, fun time singing a bunch of songs. All right? So we need to make worship about worship.